I just said I come here and meet you because I didn't usually have those sisters. I took his pictures like
Where's John? Here. You sit here. Where are you going?
Watching out for cars.
Park Press. Friend of mine is the board president. He inspires me to support them. So it's looking at creating more green spaces in lower economic areas of the city.
Good morning, everyone. I see some wonderful new faces here today, and some wonderful pioneering faces. So my name is Reverend Mary Jo Lindiotis. I am a member here, and from time to time I am given the blessing to be able to participate in the service. So happy to be a part of this one today. And just a quick reminder to turn off your cell phones or put them on silent. Sometimes God calls that way, but. And a couple of beautiful statements that we have to begin. We want to acknowledge the land. And we want to acknowledge that this is the indigenous land of the Cheyenne, the Arapaho, and the Ute peoples. And it is important for us to name them. Their legacy matters because this was their sacred ground, and it's made more holy for Althea because of it. To ensure that this land acknowledgement is more than a statement only, Althea looks for opportunities to be impactful partners and allies for Indigenous communities. Our building is home to 2 nonprofit organizations that impact these communities in Denver. They are Spirit of the Sun and Sisters of Color, United in Education, whose work through activism, programming, and education is very impactful. And we would also like to make this statement. We want to acknowledge that though we are growing in diversity here at Althea, we have a long way to go. We have been a place where most people are white, and nowadays skew to an older demographic. We do have a strong LGBTQ plus membership, and so there's much more we can do to become even more welcoming and inclusive. Institutional racism is real. Implicit and unconscious biases are real. As is the lived experience of our neighbors of color, people with diverse abilities and other groups that don't have the same privileges in our culture. We ask for everyone's help and feedback to get us to this place of deep belonging for everyone. And so, I'm going to ask for a little act of courage if you are here for the first time. We'd like you to just give us a little wave. And very nice. Do we have gifts? Yes. We just have flowers. Perfect for spring. All right.
Anyone upstairs? I don't ever want to miss the pastor. Look at y'all.
Thank you for being here. We're glad you're here.
Michael. Who else?
Tommy.
Over here? Over here?
Tommy's coming forward to our opening.
So they got together this morning. It was already up. Where did my mic go?
There it is. So, I knew that it was magical. So, as we come into that quiet place, if it feels comfortable, you can close your eyes and just allow your mind to be present, right here, right here. To just take that breath and to let go of all the busyness that took place in order to get you here. For we are all here by divine design. And as we breathe into our heart and connect with that one power, that one truth, that one knowingness that is ever present everywhere, we know that it is here within each one of us to guide us, to direct us, to unfold us in our highest and best. And so it is for that we give thanks. As we move forward into this service, into the wonder that is unfolding with our speaker, with our volunteers, with the presence of the Brook Sisters. I feel their presence each week, knowing that that which they created is still unfolding. Its power, its its wonder, its essence. For there is a love that is unfolding in this space, in this moment, right here, right now, and for that we say thank you. Knowing it is so, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Connie. Good morning. We're going to do a statement of deed and basic. So please stand as you're able and join me in the deed of statement of deed. Followed by our some response basic five. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one is all, is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. We are individualized expressions of God, and are having one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. You are the face of God.
So our featured musician today is Danny Goodman. Danny is an arts educator in Aurora, Colorado. He received his MFA from the American Repertory Theater Institute at Harvard University and the Moscow Art Theater. Does that mean you were in Moscow? Cool. And has performed across the U.S. and abroad. He enjoys sharing his passion for theater and music with young people and witnessing students take creative ownership of their own stories. He and his wife also love to explore the outdoors with their young family. Please help me welcome Danny Goodman.
If you know Bob Dylan's I Shall Be Released, I hope this song.
Say everyone must need protection. Say everyone must fall. But I swear I see my reflection someplace so high above the wall. I see my light come shining from the west onto the east. Any day now, I shall be released. Down here next to me in this little crowd, there's a man who swears he's not to blame. All day long I hear him cry so loud, calling out he's been framed. I see my light come shining from the west down to the east. Any day now, I shall be released. I see my light come shining from the west unto the east. Any day now, any day now, I shall be released.
Okay. Reverend Dr. Claire Harmon is with us today. He is a candidate for our spiritual director. Let me tell you just a little bit about him. He is a collaborative minister and a theater maker, committed to justice and joy through ritual and play. His ministry includes over a decade of work with people who are incarcerated. Claire holds a master's and doctorate in applied theater from the NYU and is an advanced integrated energy therapist and an ordained interfaith minister through the New Seminary. Just a little busy and dedicated to a beautiful life. Thank you. Please help me welcome Dr. Claire.
Good morning. Good morning. I would love to begin by inviting us into a space of meditation. And I want to begin that with this quote by this poet named Ross Gay, who works at Indiana University, who I love. He has this book called The Book of Delights. And in it he says, because in trying to articulate what perhaps joy is, it occurred to me that among other things, the trees and the mushrooms have shown me this. Joy is the mostly invisible, the underground union between us. Joy is the mostly invisible, the underground union between us. And on the wings of this image, I invite you into a place that's comfortable in your body. Perhaps your eyes are closed or look down if that feels good. And let's begin by taking 3 breaths. Take that first big breath in. Hold on to it. And let it go. Take another deep breath in. Hold on to it. And let it go. And one more deep breath in, breathing all the way down to your toes. Hold on to it. And let it go. And in your mind's eye, I invite you to bring up a moment. A moment in your life when you looked into someone's eyes and you knew they were experiencing joy. Maybe you could see it in their eyes, you could see it in their lips, you could see it across their face. Take a moment to recall that moment of joy. And when you have it, take a picture and just freeze that person. Freeze that moment when you knew this person or this being across from you was so alive with joy. And I invite you to take your hand in front of you to reach out and to cup their face. To let your palm rest on their jaw. Let your thumb rest on their cheek, on your fingers, behind their ear. And take a second to feel their face, to feel any wrinkles, to feel the smoothness of their skin, to feel the smile lines coming out of their lips, or that energy radiating from their eyes. Letting your fingertips caress their eyebrow, and again just holding them there. And now I invite
invite you to bring your hand to your face to recall what you were doing in that moment. Maybe you were smiling, maybe you were crying, maybe your eyes were wide, maybe your lips were too. Take a second to feel what it's like to be in the presence of joy on your own face. And one more time, I invite you to reach out and touch theirs. Knowing that they're there anytime you need them, knowing this moment is alive in your heart when you're ready to come back to it. When you're ready, I invite you to say goodbye to them for this moment. Letting your hand come back down to your lap. Watching them disappear into the folds of your memory, holding them safe in your heart. When you're ready, I invite your eyes to flutter open as we come back to this space together. Let's land a deep breath in and let it go. When I was in graduate school in New York City, creating experimental theater professionally, I was convinced by the world that I lived in to create real theater, true art. There must be an ineffable but critical component of individual suffering. The tortured artist would/should slog through the bleak city to create an insightful piece of humanity replete with ironic woes and unsparing criticism. I would quickly learn. You okay? I would quickly learn that no audience was too small to be transformed by the work. One person at a matinee in the Upper West Side was not a disparaging sign. Two people, one of whom was asleep at an off-Broadway theater festival of amateur-written shows, was an opportunity. I was taught that the work of theater was to be transformative, but such a change could only happen through witnessing the hardships of our world on stage in real and abstract ways. And I was taught that many would not come to witness this work because people didn't want to do the work themselves. Audience sizes were not reflections of the theater, they were merely markers of cultural decline. The only shows in New York City that managed to pack houses night after night, year after year, were musicals. Musical theater, for many friends and colleagues, was a distraction, a dilution of the power of the art form. It was worlds apart from the real work. Musical theater was for, dare I say it, tourists. Made for the masses, musical theater and its close cousin, the circus, have always been essential to my artistic practice, to my spiritual understandings of the world. But graduate school and performance studies and academic conferences and snooty looks through oversized black-rimmed glasses let me know that the underground union between audiences and performers in outrageous, playful musicals was not the real deal. Musicals would never create social change. They could not save people. In December, after a decade of experience creating theater with people who are incarcerated, I closed a production of the musical Godspell, which I directed with over 150 residents involved. The Gospel of Matthew is a tricky text to adapt into a musical. Jesus is depicted in this Gospel as the strictest, harshest, and sometimes the worst version of himself from our eyes. The text makes for an interesting pairing with the playful and eminently singable music Stephen Schwartz writes and adapts into Godspell. Yet these two sides of Jesus feel appropriate for going to show in prison. The righteous and tough face of judgment masks the more tender and hopeful self within. Schwartz forces his audiences to engage with the full humanity of Jesus in the play. He leaves divinity to our imagination and our own theological understandings. I learned during the rehearsal process from some of our ensemble members who are deaf that the ASL sign for God is here.
But in our production, we shifted that sign to be here. In doing so, we found God between us and within the relationship we had with our audiences. This positioning gave us an opportunity to see Jesus as part of a community, surrounded by those whom we loved and those who loved him. This community was a safe place for exploration and play. It was a place where everyone could step into their highest self and look fabulous doing it. It was a place for deep knowing and difficult truths. It was a place to witness people in humanity, actors and audience members alike. This is the sacred work of theater. And over 6 months, we made a community of it. That was transformative. And yes, there was suffering. Prisons themselves breed suffering through isolation and dehumanization. Making a musical in 2 prisons with so many participants and professional equipment was taxing. Rehearsing in tight rooms with so many people was difficult. Creating musical orchestrations with prison instruments was challenging. Designing and building a set and costumes and props and materials that had to be cleared and accounted for on endless checklists was Sisyphusian. Sisyphus in Greek mythology is the king who somehow eluded death twice and was punished for eternity by Hades, who devised the unbearable task Sisyphus had to do over and over again, to roll a boulder up a hill only to watch it tumble back to the base. The philosopher Albert Camus, in writing about Sisyphus and the absurd nature of the world, challenges this myth by demanding that we imagine Sisyphus to be happy. In fact, he writes, we must do so. Happiness is often seen as the opposite of suffering, but happiness is elusive, and it's singular. It's something we're sold as a solution to our individual pains. Sisyphus could very well be happy pushing that rock up the hill for eternity. Through the process of creating a musical in prison, we could have decided to just be happy amidst the suffering. We could have decided that our individual happiness was enough to drive us forward. We could have each done our own thing and then left with a smile on our faces, none the wiser to those around us. But for me, that was never an option. The antithesis of suffering is not happiness, it's joy. Suffering and happiness can happen in isolation. They can live inside us, but joy defies that logic. Joy forces us to be in relationship. As Ross Gay writes, joy is the mostly invisible, the underground union between us. This union flowing between us is the real opportunity of theater. Joy can be the spiritual labor of actors, crew, and audience members alike coming together to create a shared experience of transformation that rolls down like waters. Those waters create what French sociologist Emile Durkheim calls collective effervescence. Collective effervescence is the sparkling experience of joy which only bubbles up through shared experience in beloved community. Which makes me wonder, rather than rolling down, what happens when things bubble up? I love the image of a Boolean effervescent water rising, creating only the smallest of bubbles on scorched earth, because in those bubbles, in that tiny moment, transformation becomes manifest. The resurrection of spring becomes visible in the tiniest of sprouts. Simple moments we might miss if we don't stop to notice. In both of the resurrection stories in the Christian Gospels, there's nary a trumpet blast to be found. Resurrection happens in the tiniest of human moments, through the magic of breath where there was none. And yet the transformative power of a single breath is astounding. As I reflect over the experience of rehearsing and performing Godspell, I'm struck again and again by the tiny moments of collective effervescence. I'm moved by the willingness and work of choosing joy that happen each time we step into a rehearsal or a meeting together. I'm awestruck by the incredible impact even small acts of transformation can have in all of our lives. In preparing for this talk, I struggled to narrow down these moments to a few that could fit neatly into my narrative. So instead of cramming within those boundaries, I decided to follow my own advice when it comes to glitter and most good things in life. More is more. It brings a smile to my face to share a few mini moments of collective effervescence. A few experiences of joy that grew out of creating a new world together. Here comes the sun. Like the fact that 4 different incarcerated men saw their mothers after a performance for the first time in over a decade. Or another resident who wept during the talkback as he shared his search to feel joy again before reuniting with his brother for the first time in 17 years. Along with memories of a whole lot of trash talking before a breakdance battle between a 62-year-old man and his much younger protege at 28, which brought everyone to the rehearsal room on their feet, clapping and cheering. There was the experience of a trans woman trying on dress after dress for performances, receiving compliment after compliment for the first time in her life. Or the moment in rehearsal when one man asked to do a solo dance for his mother during the show because she loved to see him dance as a kid, and he didn't know if he'd ever be able to show her that again. And we all wept. And so many moments covered in glitter. From the props to the set to the audience's hands when they received golden high fives from the cast as they pleaded, "When wilt thou save the people? O God of mercy, when?" The magic of the show put literally into the audience's hands to take out into the world. We had many moments of doubt and disbelief that our community swooped in to steer and support, always pushing us back together. Or the uncountable moments of laughter in rehearsal, the feeling of joy solidifying bonds that would last long after those short hours in the cold days of winter in prison. There were eye rolls and troubles about makeup and glitter, which evolved into people finding ways to cover every inch of their hair, beards, and eyebrows with the sparkly magic, including someone painting blue lines up his thighs so glitter would be peeking out when he did a backflip. We had moments of loss together, realizing that one man's wife of 47 years died during our rehearsal. We held each other up through that, our commitment to joy sustaining us, doing the difficult work of what the playwright Bertolt Brecht calls the hard times, the dark times. We found ways to build enormous puppets and beautifully detailed props with care and curiosity, not just for the objects themselves, but for the storytelling they created within us all. There were times that the teachings of Jesus became more real to me than they ever had in my whole life. From the Beatitudes to the promises of the sheep and the goats. When I was in prison, you visited me. Hearing an incarcerated Jesus speak those words to his mother in the front row formed an underground bond between us and our audiences. And throughout our journey, we pushed the community to be expansive. We learned sign language and we accommodated mobility needs. I earned a sign name, a bond of joy that cannot be broken. We found God behind the walls. Not beyond our grasp, not above our heads, but between us in the world that we created. We did, in fact, create a new world together. A world of resurrection where the work of joy feeds the work of transformation. Not in isolation, but in beloved community. One of my favorite philosophers, the feminist scholar Donna Haraway, writes, "It matters what world's world worlds. It matters what world's world worlds." When I was watching every one of the performances of Godspell, I found myself swept up in our world, jumping and clapping and cheering and dancing, joy in my body. Transformation was bubbling up in that space. And once when I landed back on the ground, I recalled my graduate work and the promises of suffering. Looking out onto the stage covered in glittering, gleaming, smiling, singing people, bracketed by an audience with standing room only, clapping and cheering, surrounded by music and lights buried behind prison walls, and I just started to cry. Inexplicably, instead of being center stage, the hardships of the world had, for a moment, evaporated. Rooted in that moment of joy, the invisible underground union between us, I knew this wasn't for tourists. It wasn't for people passing through. It was for all of us entangled in the work of community. Residents, loved ones, the staff, public, our team, me. Tiny moments that brought us back to life together. It was a world we worked so hard to create together. There was some part of it alive in us whose name is forever. Joy was more work than suffering. It was harder than anything I'd ever done. We worked so much harder and deeper than any snooty books through oversized black-rimmed glasses could ever dream. We worlded new realities for those who built the show and for those who witnessed it alike. So many men afterward told me that in those days they weren't in prison. Isn't that resurrection? When I closed my eyes this morning and thought of a moment of joy captured in someone's face, I didn't know which one to choose. Each one, gleaming, glowing, moments of resurrection to hold on to forever. That is the work of transformation.
Let us pause in life's pleasures and count its many tears, while we all sup sorrow with the poor. There's a song that will linger forever in our ears. Oh, hard times come again no more. 'Tis the song the sigh of the weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days have you lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more. While we see mirth and beauty and music like gay, there are frail forms waiting at the door. Though their voices are silent, their pleading looks will stay. Oh, hard times come again no more. 'Tis the song, the sigh of the weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days have you lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more. Oh, hard times come again no more.
Thank you, Dan. So, ushers, would you assist us with distributing the bulbs here? So we are getting ready to kind of anchor, absolutely anchor, Dr. Claire's message and celebrate spring. Tomorrow at 3:24 is the spring equinox. And equinox, go ahead and pass them. Yeah, just grab a bowl if you'd like to participate. Equinox means equal night. So in the two equinoxes that we have during the year, the day and night are equal. Now, a disclaimer is what we do with daylight savings. So that's all up, but in the true language of the earth and the skies, equinox means equal night. So we actually are the earth and the sky. We are it. And for those of you who feel really connected to the earth and the sky, and living by what I call nature as perfect scripture, or just feel that you're sensitive to these changes, and take a moment to reflect on the changes within us, because we are the earth and we are the sky. We are the heavens, we are the cosmos. So from my studies of earth practices, spring lives in the direction of the east. Where the sun rises, and new days begin, fresh mornings are among us. And the east is also represented in the 24-hour clock from 6 a.m. to noon. And that should make sense to us. So from 6 a.m. to noon is spring. It also in the practice of our lifetime, it represents our age from 0 to age 25. So if you are willing, if you do not want to participate, that's always good. Witnessing is a very powerful experience. What I would like to do, however, is invite you to greet the directions with me. And so I've asked the ushers to stand in the directions. Where's our dear, this gentleman, again. Thank you. We'll take that east. Great. He knows what to do. You got it. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so if you would like, would you please stand and face the direction of the east? Go ahead with that beautiful breath and allow to rise in you your relationship with the dawning of the day. And this is what we celebrate today. We're celebrating the dawning of ideas, that urge within us that is constant, that urge to create, to begin again, to be renewed, to feel the youth of life, whatever that means to us. And we ask in our hearts to the east, would you be kind enough to be with us today as we celebrate you? We celebrate spring. Thank you. And turning to your right, if you go back to where Judith is standing, she is holding the black flag, which is the direction of the south. And the south is represented in our life by the hours of noon to 6, the most vibrant part of the day. The south is represented by the season of summer, bold, emotional, and it's also represented in our lifetime from the ages of 25 to 50. So we just connect with the beauty of the South, that place of vibrancy, that place of action, a place of strength. Then we ask the South, would you be so kind as to be with us today as we celebrate the spring and celebrate the earth? And then if you'll turn again, a quarter turn to your right, you will see Maryland with the west. Now, I used my compass, so I just tried to create equal distance between all the directions, so thank you for standing in maybe odd places. So now we look at the west. Wow, the west is a beautiful place, especially in Colorado, isn't it, with our sunsets? The west is represented by the time of the day, 6 p.m. till midnight. It is represented by the season fall, and in the years in our life of 50 to 75, the west is the place of transformation and change. Let us connect with the beautiful direction of the west, a place of process, a place of allowing. And we ask the west, would you be so kind as to be with us as we celebrate the earth and the sky and the spring today? And then one more quarter turn back to the north. The north, we're emerging out of the north, aren't we? Coming into spring. The north is represented by midnight to 6 a.m. It's a place of pure night. Things always are created from a nothingness. The north is represented by the winter and by our life at age 75 plus. Let us connect with the mystery of the north, the unknown of the north, and the rest that takes place in the north. And death takes place in this north. It's where we go for support when you're experiencing those things in our life. And so let us just ask the north, would you be so kind as to support us today as we connect with the earth and the sky and spring? Okay, so just stay where you are and give a little bit of a connection to the sky. Connect with the sky. And then go ahead and connect with the earth. And as Claire said so beautifully, we bring them together and they connect in our heart. All of the earth and its qualities connects in community, connects between us. And it is often that I feel when I'm connecting here a bubbling of water, because this is the refreshing place of the now, right here. Okay, thank you. You may be seated. I have an area in my home where I keep my ceremonial things, and oftentimes, like this morning, I go in there and sometimes things want to come. And so I have not really used this in a while. Quite frankly, I have forgotten what its name is. It's an instrument from the Tibetan culture, and it has a beautiful, profound sound. When I was studying this a while ago, the teacher said that this was an instrument that kind of went underground, because guess what? The women were using it. So I'm going to start my meditation with this. So just allow this to touch you and be with you in whatever way. So now we're going to focus on the bulbs that we have. Okay, so we'll do a little process with them. So I would suggest that you hold them however you want, but if you want to hold them lightly, that's great, as if you are offering your connection to them as they offer theirs. Because there is more daylight and more warmth, the seeds in the bulbs are beginning their emergence through the dark soil into the light. Just as the sun breaks the horizon in the east, this is a time for renewal, rebirth, and birth itself. And if you would close your eyes and go within. And in your hands you have a beautiful gladiola bulb. This is sometimes called the sword lily. Just connect with the bulb. And because we belong to each other, allow the bulb to support you in connecting with that energy within of emergence. That energy within of life springing forth in you, whether it's an idea or a connection, an experience that you're having. Oh my goodness, doesn't the earth smell amazing this time of year? And if you really are sensitive to that, it will also be a meditation for you to smell the earth at this time of year. And just as the bulb or the crocus or anything right now in spring, a lot of our bulbs are coming up, they don't really, they just acquiesce to this emergence. Something is changing. Something is moving to the light, moving to energy, moving to support this beautiful divine pattern in the bulb, and it's true for us. And this can happen all the time, but we are really supported with it from the earth at this time of year. You can look around you in your own life and cultures and the kind of festivals that happen, the excitement and the joy. So being supported by this bulb and its infinite intelligence that says, okay, here we go. Here we go. What is it in your life that is seeking to emerge? Maybe all you really want to do at this point is be willing and allow. This is a joyous occasion for the gladiola. It trusts the process. It knows it's being called by the sun, and it gladly blooms, expressing itself in its fullest. What are you willing to receive? as the divine pattern within you seeks to express joy. Let's take another bit of time to just connect and consider this beautiful connection.
Let's come back to the space of your breath in. Letting it go, our eyes open, and we arrive back to the bulb in our hands. One of the ways we care for each other in community is by witnessing each other, our hopes, and our dreams, and what we long to grow. I would love to invite you to take your bulb and to turn to someone next to you in a moment and to share with them a little bit of the hope, a little bit of the longing for growth that you have. And after you do, I invite you to hand your bulb to that person, letting them take on the weight of helping to support your growth, because we don't have to do it alone. And if your bulb is ready to start growing today, there's a pot right here to plant it. But maybe your bulb needs a little bit more tender time with you. Maybe it wants to grow in your home or a windowsill or someplace else. That's fine too. So I invite you to turn to share, to exchange a bulb. If you're ready to plant, to come forward and plant. Danny is going to play a piece of beautiful music. And I invite us to be in community together.
Also, after you plant your bulb, I'm going to offer you a spray of rose spray. So if you would like that, just picture your hands like this, and then what I suggest you do, rub it together and take it to your heart. Okay?
I'll go. Thank you.
So, poet and philosopher John O'Donohue, or what? Hello? Okay, thank you. He writes, when a blessing is invoked, it changes the atmosphere. Some of the plenitude flows into our hearts from the invisible neighborhood of loving kindness. In the light and reverence of blessing, a person or situation becomes illuminated in a completely new way. In a dead wall, a new window opens. In a dense darkness, a path starts to glimmer or glitter. And in a broken heart, healing falls like a morning dew. Let us begin to learn how to bless one another. Whenever you give a blessing returns to you.
We have blessed these bulbs with the warmth of our hands,
With the magic of our dreams,
with the gift of listening,
we bless their growth with the water of life
the warmth of the sun.
and the nurturing care of the earth.
May we too grow with these bulbs,
Bubbling up, bright and shiny,
alive and well,
turning toward the sun,
sprouting into spring,
always turning and transforming with the earth.
becoming more deeply together in beloved community.
It was a joy to create with you. So now it is time for the offering. Ushers may come forward. We are a community that sustains itself, and so we appreciate your gifts in the form of financial energy, so that we may continue to be and emerge. Alpena is definitely emerging. And there's an affirmation up on the screen. Let us affirm that together while we are doing this. Oh, it's it. Oh, yes. So there are many ways to give. Thanks to our donors who have set up recurring weekly or monthly donations. You can donate to the Althea through the Althea website, or the QR scan code is on the back of the program. We have a dip jar in the back that dips $10 every time you dip your credit card, and that's on the table in the back of the sanctuary. Do you have an affirmation on the screen? Oh, there it is. Magic. So please repeat and we'll join together. It's making this statement. The universe provides all that I need and all that I give. With great joy, I share my prosperity, planting seeds for a world I am helping manifest. And so it is. And now our ushers have a couple of microphones. This is the part in our time together when we prayers for the people. So if there's anyone who would like to speak a prayer, concern that we can all hold, please, it is kind.
Yes, I would like to speak a prayer for peace on earth and goodwill toward men and children and animals and all people.
I like to speak for all of the people here. I'm going through very intense psychological stuff. I'm partially disassociated. And people have all been nice. And I know that on Facebook I've written some pretty bizarre stuff. And so maybe we should, but it's a dumping. Stuff that's been buried since I was a child and abused. And Friday, the darkness of my altar is left. And I can smile. And a lot of it was because I could never leave my house. But I would come here and cook food and pray as I cooked. So I want to thank you all. I didn't feel embarrassed to come back. This is a very, very special place, and for all of you who story USA wrote, USA Today, for those of you who decided not to bad boy, and for those of you who supported me in your love, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I just wanted to send some love to France and all the people that are protesting there, because they're just uncertain about their future.
This is a follow-up from last week. I talked about a friend who was badly injured in Panama while they were on vacation. And the update is he's doing much better. They're at he's out of the hospital. They're at an Airbnb and just waiting for till return flights can be lined up. Just regular flight, doesn't need a medical transport. So very thankful. I would like to wish Rick Stanton, our stellar admin person, a very happy birthday today.
Thanks, everybody. There it is.
Go ahead.
I'd like to say, have a prayer for my daughter. She had an MRI done, and she actually has an infusion crack in her back. And she's only 27, her name is Shauna. We'll pray for her that she can actually do good. Because they're going to do injections in her back, and hopefully it will keep the prayers that she does not have to have surgery at a young age.
Okay, I also have a happy birthday for Sarma. Her birthday was on St. Patrick's Day. Happy birthday.
I still have 3 people to request prayers for. One is Nico, baby, who spent over 3 weeks in NICU and is still struggling and faces surgeries. A friend, Dennis, who's been in the hospital almost 3 weeks and has heart issues. And my sister, Shannon, who will be having extensive surgery to remove brain, she calls it a boo-boo. It's an acoustic neuroma, and so to protect her hearing and to remove that soon. Thank you.
What was the baby's name again?
Nico.
Sure.
So I'm just knowing in my heart that the intelligence and love of the universe has moved right to the spot of our requests and knows exactly how to support through us, as us. We do have prayer partners at the end of the service. Today's prayer partners are Connie and Michael, and they will meet you in the library here. And then you can also submit online requests on the Althea website. And I would like to just say an affirmation for Althea in its place and time, and the way in which the heart's desires of this beautiful community are attracting the perfect candidate. Okay, Jenny, you're up.
Thank you so much. I'm Jenny. I am part of the team that brings you these Sunday speakers and the Sunday experience as we start to wrap things up. And I want to say just another big round of applause and warm welcome for having Claire with us today. Thank you so much. And he brought so many cool people with you too. Yes, his wife there, other friends. I noticed these guys who put the welcome flower behind their ears. Y'all, the Unitarians are down the church. Yeah, Unitarian, yeah. I'm kidding. Of course you put flowers, they're way cooler than the Unitarians. Anyway, did I say that? So what I also do is tell you about what's coming up, right? So be with us next Sunday because we're going to celebrate our newest members and take them through a new member ceremony. If you would like to be part of that and join us, you need to check in with, is it Sarman and Rick? Wave your hands if you help check in, or help people get processed, whatever the word, sign up to be part of that special ceremony. There's Rick back there. And Rick, by the way, as I was running backstage, had me sign some birthday cards for Sarma and Anna, but not for himself. Apparently, happy birthday to you. You live in a zoo. I won't finish the rest. Yeah. You know, when you're the person that puts the cards together, together, people forget to get you a card. So we're going to get you a really cool card full of glitter after today. But what's coming up that day too, next Sunday, is our annual general meeting. This is important stuff. We're going to keep it super fun and punchy and tell you about the last year and what's coming up, right? This is something we do per our bylaws once a year. That's going to be next Sunday, going to be very cool. And then we start heading into Kevin Lockwood, who is also one of our spiritual director candidates. He's going to be speaking that next Sunday. Then it's Easter, and Easter is huge at Althea. It is probably our biggest Sunday. We have a Dixieland jazz band that plays, that's been coming for 20 years. We have amazing food. After that, the next Sunday we have Christina Long-Jones, who is also one of our spiritual director candidates. She's going to be visiting us. So just pay attention to the newsletter, go to our website. Everything I'm telling you is at both of those places, and you're going to see all the cool things that are happening. Super quick bit of business. We are still doing a 100-year campaign. We are still growing toward that $100,000. Restorations are happening already. You can see some work that's being done in the back stairwell. Last Sunday, amazing Diane Beal wrote a check for $5,000 just because we need some carpet. You might have noticed if you look down that we need some carpet. We just took out the old. So people are giving, and you can be part of helping that happen. Let's see what else we have going on. Of course, the search for a new spiritual leader has begun. We are still taking applications, but we do have some amazing candidates. So if you know anybody, you can still send them our way. Althea's Festival of the Soul. This is a huge metaphysical event on May 20th. Mark your calendars for that. It will feature readers, healers, vendors, music, food. If you want to be part of helping to make that event happen, SARMA in the back, we're going to have you raise your hand a lot today. SARMA is over all volunteers, including that, including the volunteers who make our beautiful lunch happen before, during, and after. So SARMA is the person you want to talk to if you want to help usher or do anything for us. So she is your gal. We have classes at Althea all the time. Every Sunday we have yoga with Matthew Quigley that starts at 2 p.m. That's kind of a chill, restorative yoga. And then on Thursday evenings, we have integrative yoga with Linda. This is going to be a little more high energy, so you can come join us with that. We also once a month have a gong bath. Pay attention to when we'll be doing that later in the month. If you have never been bathed by the vibrations of a gong, you got to check it out. It happens right here in the sanctuary. We have community connections every Thursday, but the last one of the month. This is for folks who want to still connect with us via Zoom. It's been going on for years now. It's a discussion group on Zoom from 11 to 12:30. And Kathy Humphreys, wave your hand right there in the back, she runs it. So she is the person to check into with that. Today, you have a comment card for the first time. Go ahead and fill this out. And we should give it to anyone with a basket? Does that make sense? Right, we'll make sure the baskets are around if you need to take a minute. We do have a lovely lunch immediately following this. So if you're new, lunch is on us. If you can't stay today and you're new, know that lunch will be on us the next time that you come. So please join us for that. Let me see if there is anything else. Oh, of course. We also have a deep dive. So there's going to be time to eat. And then around, I'm going to say, it will be what? Sorry, I don't know if we moved the clocks. Anyway, at about 1/2 past, maybe 40 past the hour, what you'll do is you will join Claire in the historic library behind this wall for a deeper dive into today's message. So it's usually a smaller group. He's going to facilitate that and bring you into even smaller breakout groups and take this theme even deeper. It's called a deep dive. It's an opportunity to get to know Claire. So please attend that. Like I say, there's time for all of it. You can do yoga, you can eat, you can hang out with Claire, you can do it all. And prayer partners with Connie and Mike, as we said, is right after, or as we start to walk out of here behind that wall. If you would like a special one-on-one prayer session, that's who you will hang out with. And it looks like we've got something else. Yes, ma'am?
Are you still doing the spring cleanup next Saturday?
Yes, we are, aren't we? When is that? Next
Saturday?
Saturday? Yes, and I'm sad because I'm going to be out of town for that, and no kidding, spring cleanup is fun. I'm not kidding. You're laughing at me. I cleaned that balcony. That's why y'all are able to sit up there, my daughter and I. help clean that balcony. We need volunteers Saturday to help clean this place. We feed you, we turn on the music, it's cool, right?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Meet us here on Saturday. Yes.
I just wonder if anyone needs anyone.
Does anyone need one? Because if you are a member, you're going to be voting on this. You do need to be a member, right?
Everyone can fill out the form.
Okay, everyone can fill out the form. So even visitors? All right, so visitors, you can fill out the form. Okay, anything else? Last call. Last call. No? All right, well, thank you so much for spending your Sunday with us. Hope to see you in Sundays to come. And what I'd like to do now is turn it back over to Daryl, and then Bob will wrap it up for us.
Thank you, Jane. Since this seems to be Althea's staff birthday, in addition to the two we talked about, Rick and Sarma, it's also Anna Julia, who usually operates our spotlight and who takes care of our beautiful plants in the building. So I'm going to start our community song with Happy Birthday to Sarma and Anna and Rick. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friends on the day. Happy birthday to you. My community song, Let It Be.
and this is a shout out. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. It is this thing called life. I feel my joy inside. I see the joy in you. And this joy connects us. It is life. It is divine. I feel it. I know it.